Hey, welcome to Tier 1. It's Monday, June 5th, and we are getting close. A bunch of you are so close to being done, including you, my sweet Melissa. Melissa, when you get a chance, I see you're off camera. Okay, are you good to get back on? And let's take a
Yes,
deep
I
breath,
am
Melissa.
very close. I am
You
very
are
close.
so close.
I know. So I'd worked with you last Tuesday, and then Carter and I had an appointment with the state president, and all of his mission stuff's been pushed back 6 months.
Oh,
And
is it for mental health reasons? Are they wanting him to?
they want him to work on some stuff, but it's just been now he's like, I don't want to go. Yes, I do want to go. And it was just one of those things that was just it just felt like another blow to my life. It's just and so I'm really struggling again. And I'm like, man, I feel like I'm back in that spot where I was when I was struggling with my faith, where I kept just thinking, what's the point? And I had to claw my way back to finding the point. And so I'm like, it's really hard to move forward on being well, my purpose is to help people find what's the point, when I myself am feeling what's the point all over again. And so it's really hard to work on my stuff, even though I'm trying, when I'm screw it all. I cannot take another blow. I can't emotionally take it. And so I'm still fine, but it's trying to do something that you just don't feel that conviction for at the moment, but you're supposed to do. It's when I would told you, I'd go to the temple, and it'd be I would sit there and think, what's the point? Because right now in my heart, that's how I feel. My brain says, the point, and my heart says, I don't care. I am done being hurt over and over and over again. And my brain says, but God knows all these things, blah, 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 and it's and my heart says, but emotionally, I can't handle it. So we get back last week, and I had my son give me a blessing. And he gives me a blessing, and the very last thing he says was, this was the plan, and you accepted it. Nothing else, just amen. And it was kind of I felt it wasn't I know this is hard. I know this is this. It was to me, it was you knew this is what it was going to be, and you accepted it, so deal with it. That's how my heart feels. And so my heart is screw this then. I don't want to do any of this. So my heart and my brain are in alignment right now.
And a little bit of a war.
And I'm trying
They're battling a little. Melissa, do you mind if I share? Do you mind if I share an experience? Is that all right with you if I share something? Yeah. Sorry, I didn't. Is that all right with you? Are you okay with that? Okay. So
sorry, I just feel this is me all the time. It's just one big huge emotional.
No, you're fine. So I'm going to say it was about 4 years ago, my daughter wanted to serve a mission and put in her papers, and we waited and waited. What we got back on her papers was some red letters on the bottom that said, excused from serving a mission, and that the stake president got a thing that said, she may not apply again, and and you can't go back on with this. It was about 2 weeks before college semesters were starting, and she had been getting up to do the missionary schedule and getting up and reading scriptures for an hour. She'd been on the schedule for the entire summer and had taken 2 mission prep classes the entire year before. And she felt like she was ready. But there were some things that they obviously felt like it would not be appropriate for her to serve a mission, or for whatever reason. We weren't ever told why. And I understand, watching my daughter go through that heartbreak of the shift and change from what we think it's going to be to what the new plan is, was very, very frustrating. So with that being said, that 6-month wait is really discouraging. That's really discouraging for a lot of missionaries, but especially for a mom who sees that her son has a righteous desire and wants to do this thing, and that the church has said, whoa, you've got to like do it this different way. And that can be really hard. So it's okay that you're feeling that way. Now, let me tell you what the statistics are in the back end. And I might have shared this with you at Speaker in a Day. I'm trying to remember, but
We did.
about a fifth of missionaries that go out come home. Most of it is because of emotional health issues. And 90% of those that come home early leave the church and don't ever come back. So the church, and I'm not saying that would happen with your son, but I'm saying the church is very, very careful. They are so careful. And I know that doesn't fix it. I know that doesn't make it better on your end, but it's not because you haven't been doing things right. It's not because God's just trying to mess up with you. They have to be careful because they're losing these young adults in droves already. And they're trying to make sure that they don't set somebody up that for a mission that might be really like might not end up the way that we hope that it ends up. And so that's the back end of it. So the front end is, oh my gosh, it sucks. And it's just going to hurt for a little bit. And whatever he decides to do, whether he decides to go and do what they're asking him to do for 6 months, or whether he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore, both sides of it are hard. Maybe he decides he wants to do a service mission instead. Like there's some different options, but still it's different from what he had planned, and it's different from what you had planned. And when we are forced on a different road, it is hard. It's really hard. And you have been struggling. And I don't think that it's that it's a coincidence that your message that you feel like God needs you to do, that you're having to dig into that message. And I'll tell you that like this last weekend was a bad ADHD weekend for my boy. And I sat yesterday and thought, what the heck am I doing? I don't feel like coaching anyone. I am failing at this at home. The adversary wants us to feel like we are not good at what we do, but because you are struggling, that is what's going to make you good at what you do. Because you're feeling so crappy, that's what brings you into this place of, I know how to help you because I was in that spot and it wasn't that long ago. And I know what this feels like. And I know how to get you into the next place. That makes you the ideal person to help. Now, if you need to take a little break and you just need to put everything down for a week, don't clear out all the unread messages and just be able to heal for a couple of weeks, for as long as you need to, that's okay. I want to give you permission to just heal with what you need, just deal with what you need to do. And if this is too much and too overwhelming, I put it on a shelf, because this is not eternal salvation. This is not a saving ordinance. This is not going to be whether or not you make it to heaven or not. Nothing. So you have permission to let it go.
I don't want to get behind.
It's okay. There is no
Can
behind. Jess?
can I jump in here?
Yeah.
Last week I was feeling like, I don't want to get behind. I've got so much on my plate. And then Diane's words of wisdom. And I have to slow down because it's not working for me, the speed. I will not be doing the podcasting track in June. And I probably won't be graduating from Tier 1 on the 14th because it's not working for me. I have way too much on my plate to get it all done right now. So if you want to join me, Melissa, we can not graduate together from Tier 1 in a week and a half.
Well,
And
we also have Jess, who's
Can I
just
share?
starting. Yeah, go ahead, Mamira.
Yes. So the reason we give you deadlines is to motivate you to work to get it done, right? Because some of us work really well with deadlines. But the idea is also because we want to encourage you to do that. But it is not a hard and fast thing. It's not a cutoff date. It's not anything like that. And in fact, what you'll find is there's a lot of flexibility in this. And in fact, sometimes I think, okay, well, if I because we have these goals, I want to get these done. Here is what I have found is that when the Lord's like, okay, pull back the reins a little bit, kind of shift a little bit, it's because he's got a straightaway stretch for you coming up somewhere. Like right now, he's helping you get all these other things in order and getting things in place. And he knew that this is what it would be, but there's going to be a straightaway. And I'll tell you right now, that there is going to be give in this summer already, because we slow down a little bit. And for those who are looking like at the speaking track, like graduation, we're saying the 14th we'll celebrate, but when you graduate and it's, let's say it's in a month from now, and you're like, okay, I've got it done July. Guess what? We're going to celebrate you in July. Hey, and this isn't
Let's
hard
just
and fast
do-
right now, but we're looking at even those who want to do the speaking track. That may be in August, because July is too hard with vacations and things to start that. So there is time. And I
There's
just want
time.
you to know I'm not kidding. And Angie can probably speak to this. I see she just came off, but sometimes we'll go, gotta get it done, get it done. And the Lord's like, stop. And I've seen that with me, and I have to go with his flow. And then he's helped weed out everything else. There might be something on the background that you didn't even know was going on that gets weeded out, so that when you do jump in, it goes faster, smoother, better, because those kinks were worked out that you didn't even know. And they might not even have been your kinks. They might have been kinks on on our side or some other side, and went, oh, that went beautifully. So sometimes it's hard to see because we're worried of that. So I just want you to know, like, there's no, sometimes we have that and then we're like, oh, it's the cutoff. No, there's not a cutoff. There's not. So-
Angie, and Angie is, I think that Angie, do you mind like kind of just sharing your bit? Because you're a really good example, because you did put things down for a few months, and kind of share that, you know, what your perspective has been. I know, I'm sorry, you're still muted. I wish I could unmute people.
No,
There we
sorry.
go. You're good.
Yes, you know, I've just kind of come out of the spot that you were in. And when I first started, last September, I was like, go, 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 go. And I did a big retreat, and it was awesome and super stressful. And then come February, like, I got a halt. I had something horrible happen with one of our kids, and then with my twin sister. And then, you know, I was like, I gotta stop. Like, and we were moving, just too much. And now getting back in it, like, I was even scared, because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. Like, I don't even know anybody in tier 1 anymore except Taylor, and she's way ahead of me, and all my stuff has changed. Like, my whole one big message has changed, and honestly, it was for the better, because now it hasn't changed 100%, right? But it's more of really in line with what I wanted. And it's still been, you know, somewhat frustrating, because I've been in a fear mode, but it's all coming together. Like, it's good. It's coming together. I've been right where you're sitting right now, and just being like, I didn't even go to the temple for, like, I went faithfully for 2 years, every single week. And come like March, I was like, I'm not even going. Like, I'm not even praying. Like, I was kind of angry, because all this stuff had happened to me, and it was all hitting me at the same time. And I'm like, gosh, I'm doing all these good things. Like, what in the heck is going on? But, you know, I've had to get myself together and slowly start doing, really teaching myself again what I'm teaching other people. Like, I'm having to go through it on myself again, because I have lost, you know, my own like self-confidence and love. And so now I'm having to go through what I'm teaching everybody else, which I think is a blessing at this time now, because it's reiterating what I'm doing, and gonna again be able to help me teach others. So I don't know. It'll be a blessing a month from now, but if you have to stop for a minute because it's too much, like, you've gone through a lot. Just divorce in itself is, I mean, it's horrendous. And going, so I wouldn't, give yourself grace. No one's going anywhere. You're going to be okay. Take care of you first, or you're not going to be good doing this anyway. Still,
And-
like, listen to the messages, and if you can pop on a call, awesome. But stop for a sec. You can. It's okay.
Which is really, I think and at this point, Melissa, it may be, I am going to just hop on the call, and I'm just going to listen. And I'm just going to listen for a couple of weeks. I'm just going to, get on, see what's going on. On Wednesday, I'm going to be teaching in the DTLC, the voices of the adversary, like how to be able to discern adversary from the spirit, how to be able to tell the difference between the two. So we're going to talk about that on Wednesday. That would be really good to be able to listen to, and how Satan kind of turns our thoughts back onto us, and how to get out of that mode. So just mourn for a little bit, stay connected, and just keep coming. But if you need to, let it go. Maybe we set, if you work with goals well, if goals are too like dates are too stressful for you, Melissa, then don't do dates. For some people, dates don't work. But if we need to do a like a graduation again in the end of July, and then one, in September, then that's what we do. And I'm running the podcast thing over and over again. It's okay. Like you're not gonna be behind with that. I told Michelle that I'll do it for her in September. Whoever else wants to join her in September, take the time that you need, because this has been a lot. You have had a lot. And yeah, sometimes, you have to kind of get to the point where you're going to get your bucket filled, and not going because you feel like all this pressure. Don't be here because if you don't, we're going to like send you a swear word or emoji or something. Like don't do that. Be here because you just need to be for a minute. You just need to feel the spirit for a minute. And know that you're okay.
Just a week ago, I was so stressed, and I've been so stressed about, because I really want to do this podcast thing. I feel called to it and guided to it, but there's so much going on in my life right now that I just can't do everything, and I can't count the hours I have spent on trying to get my stupid landing page done. And then every time I turn around, it looks different on somebody else's device. So I'm back to revising. And I mean, it's just been awful. And I'm like, I can't get this done. And I can either take my time and do things better, or I can rush through them and make them sloppy and not effective anyway. So for me, I just have had to slow down, and I'm just going to take this summer to finish up tier 1 and get my house remodeled and get my son home and do the things that I have to that are on my plate now, so that I can start fresh again in September. And if you need to slow down, join me on Melissa. I was even going to ask Diane and Lamira, okay, so when everybody graduates from tier 1, is it just going to be me?
Nope.
Because I'm not graduating tier 1 coming up. I just have to slow down.
And it's
there's
okay.
Way too much going on in my life.
Yeah, and that date is set for all the different tiers. That's just the date that everyone's kind of working towards. If you don't have your stuff together by then, don't worry about it. I was a late graduator from speaker track. I didn't even think I was going to graduate the first time. And I was late from that. It took me a while to get all of this in place. It take time. God will make things work. So Melissa, you've heard a lot of different voices, a lot of different advice. What has stood out to you? Is there anything that's impressed upon you that you are feeling, okay, this is what I think I need to do?
Besides crawl under my bed for like a couple months. I've tried that before. I can't fit under my bed. Because that was what I always said.
It's really dusty under my bed. And there's like fluff there from like dead people from years ago. Like I just don't vacuum under there very often. So it's really not a great place.
I am just struggling with feeling like there is going to be any light at the end of the tunnel, that there will be any happiness. All I think about is all the stories of all the people in scriptures or whatever that never got the things that they wanted in this life. And to me, that's how I feel. And that is crushing my spirit and my soul right now, to feel like, what if that is my life? I don't want to do it.
Okay, so Melissa, may I invite you to try something this week? So we have two different types of mindsets that we can be in. We can be in an abundance mindset, that you have everything that you need and everything is going to work out the way that and the best for you. And we can be in a mindset that is fear and scarcity based. And researchers have shown, which I thought this was fascinating research. When I first heard it, I thought for sure like it was churchy, but it wasn't. So we can only be in one mindset or the other. We can't have a foot in both. So either we're planted on our fear and our scarcity, or we're planted in abundance and love, and that everything's going to be okay. And usually when I teach this, we have two different circles, but they found there was a shortcut that can get you from this fear and scarcity over to the abundance and love side. And they found that shortcut was gratitude. And so I'd like to challenge you to see if between now and next Monday, if you could make a list of 50 things you're grateful for. And I know it feels like that doesn't have anything to do with anything. And it doesn't even have to be churchy. You can be grateful that there's only once a week. You can be grateful for one, that there's, there's a whole bunch of things you can be grateful for don't have to be with churchy. You can be grateful for your body. You can be grateful for your home. You can be grateful for concerts and music, but I'm going to challenge you to do that. Now I'll tell you what happens with my clients when we do this is about the first 20, 30 are pretty easy. And then you have to dig. You're going to have to dig into things that you're grateful for that are not going to be on the surface. And those are the ones that are shifting. Those are the ones that are going to shift you from being in a place of fear and scarcity to a place of abundance. When we get in that place of fear and scarcity, it's easy to read scriptures and see, like, look at all these people that never got what they want. Well, what about the people who did? And it's just changing that mindset over there. Yeah, definitely there are people who didn't get what they wanted. And maybe that life didn't turn out so great for them. But there also were people that were blessed. And maybe your life just turns out a little different than when you thought.
Yeah, I agree. It's just I'm just kind of in that down spot because it's like I've been working so hard and trying so hard and feeling just continually beat down. And so that's when you're like, I don't have the strength anymore. I don't have it anymore. And that's when I've like tried to rely on the Lord. That's when I've tried to do all the things that I know that I should do. And I'm just like, I'm just still down in this
So
spot
did you hear yourself say should? All the things that you should do. I've gotta have you change that. All the things that I would like to do. So Melissa, go take a nap, get out a journal and start writing things you're grateful for, and start it like right now. Maybe you can't take a nap right now, but you're tired and you need just a little bit.
already have a good job.
I know. Just take a little break. Okay. Put everything down. It'll be there when you get back. So 1 week of a break, you're writing gratitude, you're taking little naps, you're eating chocolate, you're going to a music concert somewhere. All right.
And I had one more thought on this.
Sure.
For me, Melissa, sometimes that word should also always stands out. If I am relying on the Lord, I should feel happy. I should feel peace. I should feel joy. But even the Savior pled not to do what he was supposed to be doing. Even he didn't want to do it. And yeah, he had joy and he had peace and he had love. But there came a time when the agony he felt was real, and it wasn't joy didn't replace that agony while he was going through Gethsemane, and joy and peace and hope didn't replace the anxiety and the stress and the heaviness while he was going through. And I realized a few years ago that sometimes having faith means just pushing through the agony, and that we don't always need to feel joy and peace and love to be faithful, and that very often the agony and the depression and the struggle, they're real, and we need to just feel them. And that doesn't mean that we're not faithful, but that faithfulness comes by just hanging in there, and that even the Savior did not always feel happy and peaceful.
Can I say one more thing?
Yes.
Please?
Yeah. Go ahead, Angie.
I'm sorry. So Melissa too, like, so you've gone through like this whole divorce is like a tragic, horrible thing, right? And so when bad things happen, like continually after that, it's like a trigger, and you get back into that mindset and those feelings of, yeah, that hope is gone, because you feel like you're back in that mold again. So remember that, because you're not, like, you're safe, everything is good, but that's what happened to me. Like, I would just go right back into that moment of, oh my gosh, like I thought things were going to get better, because they're not. You know what I mean? And but it is. And I honestly feel like Satan is working on you huge, because you have such an awesome message to share. And so, and I think you're right. Like, you're tired, girl. You work full time, you've got kids, and after you've gone through a divorce, you're worried about your kids. You're worried about everything else but yourself. And so I think you do got to take this time right this minute and give yourself a break for this week. Like, stop, don't worry about any of this. It'll be here when you come back, and it'll be fine.
It follows you around forever. Like, it
Yeah.
just doesn't go away. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
It's
And
not a race.
It's not a
I've had
race.
to say that myself. Like, this isn't a race. Like, I'm a perfectionist, like in my job, like balls to the wall in everything that I do. And I had to just understand that, like, it's not in my time, it's in his. And maybe you're needing to just chill for a second, for not only you, but for your son. Like, there's a reason. Just don't think too deep into it, 'cause that's what I do. Like, oh great, something else is coming, you're preparing me for something worse, right? It's not. It's all good. Like, just breathe. It's going to be okay. And rest.
I do have to say, every year I hope it's going to be less of a trigger, but June, which ticks me off too, because it's my birthday month. June's a trigger. It's Gay Pride Month, and that is tied to
To your
my
divorce. Yeah. Yeah.
and it's tied to when we told everyone we were getting divorced, and my ex came out as gay. Everyone was so happy for him. He could be who he wanted to be now. He could be all of this. And one of the reasons why I want to do what I want to do is because there aren't many people, or I didn't know anybody that went through my situation, and it was so hard. And sometimes I still feel like that. Like, where's the person for me? I've even prayed about that. I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to be this person for somebody that's like, do you understand what it was like when everyone was happy for somebody and you were just the one that just got crapped on? And I'm like, where's the person for me? Where's the person that I get to go to and say, yeah, do you know how hard this is?
Melissa, have you talked with Connie in the last couple of weeks? So I think let's get you scheduled. Have a I think Connie's out of town this week, right, Lamira? So get on her schedule, okay? And then yeah, let's kind of just you know, you're welcome to schedule a call with me, and we can kind of go through some of this. And this might be a good time to even recommend maybe talking to Wendy Christensen and get you processed through some of that, because it sounds like there's some processing that needs to happen. All right. And maybe that's what happens during this kind of time of rest for you. Okay.
And yeah, and every
Okay.
year I'm like, it's going to be better this year. It's not going to affect me this much. And maybe it wouldn't if other things didn't pile on at the same time, where I'm already trying to protect my heart during this time of seeing everything that comes at me that's like,
And you're just it's just that the Lord's increasing your capacity, but you still doesn't mean you don't need to get some more processing in. So maybe I would recommend that. But yeah, schedule a call with Connie for next week. Okay. All right. With the rest of our time we have, let's
I'm
look
sorry, you
at.
guys. I'm sorry.
You're fine, Melissa. Let's look at landing pages, or if you guys want to talk about email sequences. The other thing is, let's simplify newsletters. Now Lamira has a masterclass in your member vault for newsletters and what you can put in a newsletter to make it easy. So newsletters, when I was doing my podcast is when I was the most consistent. So when I start this new podcast, it'll be consistent again, because I put a newsletter out the day that my podcast was released. I always had a newsletter with the podcast picture, a link to the podcast. I would just take my show notes over and stick them in there and direct people to a newsletter, to where the podcast was. However, if you don't have a podcast up and going, then you can link them to, you already have, all of you guys already have content. If you have not offered anybody your opt-in yet, then you can link them to your opt-in. And so be thinking of things you can do. You can break your opt-ins. For most of you guys, your opt-ins, well, for all of you guys here, your opt-ins are a little teeny piece. And we leave it little so that we have other things that we can share with them. So sharing other little tidbits and pieces. What I found for my newsletter, and I found this through experiences, first of all, know that in normal open rates, I would say a good open rate, what you want to see is about 25%. Most people that will open your emails, most people, most companies cannot, like that data is not as good as it used to be because of an Apple iOS, the privacy thing. So, but that's going to be about what you want to see. Things that I noticed improved my newsletters was when I started researching the headlines, what would make a good headline. There are headline evaluators that will evaluate every word and make sure that it's emotion-based, or that it's, whatever it is, that will evaluate that and say, yes, this is a good headline. And I just started keeping a list of like emotion words and a list of like synonyms and things like that I like to use just right next to my screen so that I could start building better subject lines. And I would invite you to try different types of subject lines with your newsletter, and then have something in there that like what is it that you guys like in a newsletter? Tell me what normally makes you want to click open one of your emails. What's a for sure? Yes, if I see this, I'm for sure getting it. You guys tell me what, Michelle, you're like, nothing? Like, what if it's like a recipe or like, I don't know, something?
I hate newsletters. And that's why I'm really struggling to even want to do these, because I don't have time to read newsletters. And so I'm really struggling on this because I
Here's a
hate
question.
newsletters.
What emails do you read?
I read emails. Good, Angie. I read emails that I have to.
Do you read like from the church when they send you?
I subscribe to them, but I don't read them.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I don't read newsletters. I don't read emails.
So I think this is where this is good for you in the sense of going, if you're going to send it, you're going to be more intentional about what you send. Right? Because you're going to make sure that you're not just sending them a bunch of fluff and guck, but the people who will open it want it. And when they don't open it, it's okay. The idea of the newsletter is it's just that drip reminder of, oh yeah, I'm still here, right? I've got a newsletter, I've got this. But when you've got a new book or something, and you might be that your newsletter is not all the time. And this is what we talk about, is you'll decide when that best time is. You don't want a newsletter that's just anytime you have a product that's just selling, but having something where you might be something that you learned that might be that you put on social media. This is how we say leveraging your content, where it's just that idea of serving your audience. If you're saying I'm helping them see those patterns of the divine patterns of Christ, sharing that with them, who needs that, and you have your audience in mind, then yeah, you're not just going to send a newsletter just to send a newsletter. You're going to send one that says, hey, this is something I want to share with you. If you were really big in following like the Come Follow Me podcast, and like, oh, they have a new one out, I didn't know that. You might open it just to click through the podcast, but not to read everything, right? That's the point of that newsletter, right? Is because it's getting that.
Yeah, what we are reaching people and meeting people where they are. Some people are not social media people. So I would sometimes take my exact post that I had made, my little picture from social media, plop it into my newsletter, side by side with my post, and then a little thing to follow for more things, click on this. So just know that, just think outside the box. I'm super visual. I need pictures. I need, like in my newsletters, if it's just a bunch of words, I'm not going to do it. And I need to know that it's valuable for me. So I don't want to, I had somebody that would send me these newsletters that were like pages. I don't have time to read pages, and I'm only going to keep subscribed to things that I actually really want to hear. However, I have a psychologist that I study with, and she's an ADHD specialist back east, and she will send her latest blog post that has some research in it about ADHD that will be like ADHD and bullying. Click to the top 3 things that will help your ADHD kid avoid being bullied. Holy cow, I was in that in a second. That's my pain point. And that's what my ideal clients are looking at. So what is the pain point that you can solve for it? Now, I am going to say consistency is king. So if it's a once a month newsletter, do once a month. Don't send me like one every week with stuff in it that's not very good. If you want to do a once a month newsletter with one little piece of something in it, then that is fine. Write it. But I'm going to encourage you guys to come up with a date right now and write down a tentative date that you are going to send your first newsletter. So do you want it to be on, now newsletters tend to be opened more. Don't do the weekends, don't do Friday. Like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays are good days for newsletters. If you have something for them to click, just so you know what the average click or a good click rate is about 1% to 2% of the people that you send. So about 25% open it is good. And about 1% to 2% click rates. I have emails I send out that nobody has clicked on it. And I know that means that my content didn't maybe hit my audience's pain point as much as maybe I need to look at doing something different. So that's what we're looking for. And so picture what that is like for you. Somebody mentioned in DTLC that they like to follow, if you follow the essentialism guy, I've got his books.
It's Greg McKeown.
Greg McKeown. His is, he wants to do, because he's about essentialism, he wants to do like the 30-second email, like that you can just read in like 30, I think it's 1 minute email or something. Then it's then that's it. That's like the 1 minute email. I think that's what he calls it.
The other thing too is I like that Benjamin Hardy, his emails all lead straight to his YouTube video. He says he has his short subject line that says, oh, impossible is greater than this or something. And then you open it up and it says, here's my little thing about blah, 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 blah. And you click to the YouTube video. It's his way of doing things. Hal Elrod does his, and it's about his podcast or events, right? So Michelle, if you end up doing a podcast or a blurb, then that makes sense, right? Then the idea is you're basically announcing, hey, I put this out there. So the idea, if that makes sense, if that helps, but sometimes as women, we get trapped in the Relief Society newsletter, right? That's like, we're like,
these treats.
Yeah, that I have to have a Canva graphic for all of this. No, the idea is consistent content, story branded. It's service oriented newsletter, right? Yeah, we like it to look good, whatever. But man, you put up there one little thing that has quote for the day that I love. What did you learn from this? Boom, reply back, right? If they love it, they'll open it. They'll click through. They'll lead to your social media posts, right? So things like that, just kind of going, make it simple, make it juicy. And juicy can be, you don't have to rewrite everything you just said in a podcast.
Oh my gosh, please do not do that. Or please do not rewrite, feel like you need to give like a ton of information. Look how many people in our chat said, look, I'm the same way. I don't want to open up. I don't have time for it. I'm too busy. This is the way we are. We are too busy. So if your emails are known to be short, give something valuable, and to be respectful of their inbox and their time, then those are the types of emails that people will respect. So, and I love that. So like if you have 10 people on your newsletter, one person clicks through, then you nailed it. So that's really what you're looking for. So what is that going to look like for you? What does that mean? And create your own style. Do your own style, your own frequency. It's going to be the first Monday of the month. And I'm going to, write it. Yeah, make sure it's aligned with your OBM. one call to action, just like we do on our social media pages and our not social, well, social media too, but our landing page, make it simple. Don't confuse them. And just don't think it's got to be this big thing. We really do think newsletter, and we think of like the, like the Relief Society flowery thing that we get once a month that I never read from Relief Society. I'm just going to say, I just never read it. It's too
Can I
much.
share something?
Yes.
Diane? So I have a friend that she has a massive following on social media, and she sends out her newsletter. She does a book club that she just hosts in her not a purpose-filled women group, sorry, in her Facebook group. That's ours. But she sent out an email that it was a similar thing she did on her social media post, but her call to action was, have you ever done this? Reply and tell me about it. That was her call to action. Sometimes the call to action is, hey, I'm selling this thing, come here, but it can be as simple as that.
Serve, but
Mhm.
make it short. Do it your way and what's gonna feel true to you. All right, Taylor, I haven't heard anything from you today. How are you doing?
Good. Just trying to get all my tier 1 stuff done and figure out the stupid web page, and which I'm really kind of frustrated with, but it's coming together.
Okay,
So
and what are you using for your landing page? What program?
I'm WordPress. So I bought my domain off another place, and so I had to figure out how to transfer it to like where I was hosting. So that was like a headache. But I figured it out. So I'm hoping now like it'll go a little smoother.
Okay. And one of the things that I just want to mention, I don't know how much you're paying for hosting and things, but if you are paying for different products, then that Funnel Breezy is really, really a good option as you're getting going, Taylor. It's $97 a month, and it is everything. It is your calendar. It is your website. It is the templates. It's your email hosting. It is like everything. So if that fits into people's budgets, that is a great way to do it. If it doesn't fit in your budget, then there are options. Lamira knows that a lot of so I don't know the one that how to connect a WordPress landing page to your mail service. So Lamira's going to be your tech person, you guys. If you want that, Lamira's going to be the best person to talk to about those.
You were asking me about what you're saying, what the back end, what are you talking about? What you are, Michelle, you're asking how to connect that. It all depends. It's usually an integration, or a plugin on your WordPress landing page. So what I typically do, depending on who you're using, I go through the back end of my mail service and I look at integration and see and look up WordPress. And a lot of times it will walk you right through how to integrate it to your WordPress site. Most of them have some sort of tutorial to walk you through them.
So can I ask like a quick definition question then? Like on MailerLite, it says create a form.
Uh-huh.
And is that just where you put your name and your email? Is that what
Yep.
they're talking about?
Yep, it's a form. Yep. that's a
Okay.
form.
So like, I don't
And
have
on
to worry
WordPress, they'll call it a form too. So anytime that's an input where somebody's going to submit something to you, that's a form.
Okay, because I'm like, what form do I have to create? I've got my sign up here, and now I've got to create a form. I don't know what form I'm supposed to create. I mean, it was just like,
And it's
way too
really
much.
hard because different platforms use different words. And I'm like, people, it's not trademarked. Just use the same form. Is it a customer journey or is it an automation? It's an automation. Just use the same, right? We all feel that same way. Like,
Okay, I think that will help then, because then I means I already have a form created because I've done it. Now I just need to link this to the database. Thank
and
you.
usually there's some sort of tag or something that you've hooked up in the back end. They'll call it a tag or some kind of identifier. So.
Okay,
Wow.
thanks, Angie. We'll see you. Okay, CS Taylor, what's your question?
For the opt-in, I made those changes. Do I just send it to you through the DTLC end?
Well, you
On the
can send it to me
website?
through. Well, you can send it. You can do
Or
that. Send
WhatsApp?
it to me through WhatsApp. Through my email is diane@dianepassy.com.
All
Just
right.
you can do it through that, but if you can also attach it through WhatsApp.
All right.
so you can do it that way. Like you can send it through member vault. Just give me a heads up that that's what you did, and I can find it through that as well. So yep, any of those will, or send it to Lamira. She'll, like, I don't know, like you can send it to any of us and we'll be able to look at it. But yeah, Taylor, you're really close. Like, were you able to feel like that you got the input that you needed for your opt-in?
Yeah, I really appreciate that. And I think it looks a lot better. So
Good.
I should probably post it in there so everyone can see the end. But I was like, I don't even know how to turn this thing in.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Just do it through WhatsApp, do it through email. If it helps me to put my email address in WhatsApp, I can do that. But WhatsApp, you can also just send me a message and attach it in with a message.
Okay.
And take a picture of it or just send it that way. Whatever works for you. You can share the Canva file with me as well, and I can just open it up through Canva. So whatever.
Okay,
Yeah, but it was good enough that I bet you that with your adjustments that it's going to be good. So
sounds good.
okay, so now it sounds like you're just working on your landing page then.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna buckle down and do it because it's one of those like it doesn't inspire me, and so I just have to like do it because I don't enjoy it, but I'm like, I just need to do it.
And usually that's the thing, right? Is it's the stuff that we don't love, like that we have to do, and we have to do it. It's I have to do dishes because we got to eat something, or I got to go buy paper plates, right? Or I got to change the baby's diaper because even though I hate changing diapers, I got to do it, right? So
Right.
same type of thing.
And maybe like the talk in your head is I choose to do this. Like I find if I move from I have to do it where I feel like I'm being forced to, I am choosing to figure this out this week. And because I know that this is just the next step. I always pray because technology can trip me up. I always pray now before I start something and Heavenly Father, help me see how I need to do this as efficiently as possible. I don't have a lot of time. So help me do this in the amount of time that I have and to be as efficient as possible. And so that I always include the Lord with it. And then, yeah, I am just really changing that wording to, I am choosing to do this because I know that it's going to help bring the Spirit to people and it's going to help people who are struggling. So I'm going to imagine them being able to find this and it being exactly the solution that they're looking for. And I'm excited to create that for them. So that can just change like how much we work on it and what we do when we are working on it. If we've got a little bit different story in our head about it. I hate being forced to do things. So I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me I have to create a dumb landing page. I'm not going to do it. So, all right, you guys, we have 1 minute. I just want to go around really quick. Tell me what you're working on this week. And that includes you, Melissa. We'll come to you last though. So Michelle, this week, what is your goal?
My goal this week is to integrate my landing page with a mailer service.
I love
have
that.
been fighting that for a year, or well, literally a year.
Okay.
I started this in June and then I let it go. And anyway, so I'm
Okay.
going to integrate this week.
Good. And if you need help, schedule a call with Lamira.
I will.
Okay, like really, like just maybe even schedule one with her and say, I'm going to have it done by this date so that if you have any questions with it, then Lamira, you already have the call scheduled and you're just, when you meet up with her, even if it's done, you
We
can
can
have her
even
check
walk
through it.
through the back end and test it. We can be the testing. Send it to
Yes.
me and we'll test
You guys
it.
use Lamira for the tech. Please use Lamira. Just schedule the sessions. Like Lamira and I are like, we are happy to help you and let's make it a working meeting for 20 minutes. We're going to work together to figure out whatever it is that you're going to figure it out. And that includes the tech on the back end with
And I'm
Lamira.
going to tell you, if you get on there, like she has no times open when I'm free, text us.
Yeah.
Like seriously, because we only put in certain times so that we leave time for our kids, whatever. But typically I shift my hours depending, you know what I mean? So just so you know, don't let that stop you because I want to tell you right now, sometimes we are so underutilized because you ladies are trying so hard to be so good to us that nobody schedules something. So just know that we are here for you. So don't be like, oh, I feel like I'm a nuisance. No, being a nuisance is a good thing for us. If it's too much, we'll tell you to slow down, but we're not going to do that because you're doing amazing. So
So Taylor, even if for like, as you're trying to set up this, if you made an appointment with Lamira this week and then next week, just to make sure that you have all the technical back-end stuff done, that might just feel really good to know. I'm going to do as much as I can, but then when I know that I've got my 2 appointments set up with Lamira to do that. Or if you want to set up an appointment, we go through your opt-in page again, or what your landing page looks like, or whatever. Just schedule them in advance, you guys. Please just schedule them in advance, because as much as you can. And so that if there's not something there, we can work you in. And we will all do that. All of us will do that. So.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that's
Taylor.
a great idea. And I think that would help keep me like where I need to be, because then I know I have to like check in and report with someone versus like, I'll get to it.
Right. Okay. So what's your goal this week, Taylor?
Finish my landing page and figure out how to get a newsletter started with it.
Okay, well, that is a huge goal. I'm going to ask you to break that down small. If you are just putting your domain into WordPress, so what you're telling me is that you're going to finish that up and then create a landing page all in 1 week. Can you do that?
I'm going to attempt to do that because that's what I need to do.
Okay. What if?
Get my landing page done.
Okay, get it. How about get the outline of your landing page done? Get your back end of your website and outline of your landing page.
All right. Sounds like a good goal.
I want you to be able to not feel like you're failing it. So I'd rather you have a goal that you know you can do, and then do more if you can do more. But let's have one that you know for sure you can check off. Can you for sure check that off?
Yeah, I should be able to do that.
Okay. Our scheduling appointment with Lamira, can you have that be a goal?
Yeah.
Okay, super.
Probably
Melissa,
sick of me, but
what was that?
she's probably sick of me. She's seen me so much.
Whatever, we're not sick
no,
of you.
just bring me some lemon cake. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're good. No.
You're good. You're good. Okay, Melissa, what do you want? What are you feeling your next step needs to be?
I'm gonna schedule a call with Lamira, and then if I work on anything before, I work on anything before. If not, she can help me see where I'm at and where to go with where it's at with the landing page. Because my
Sounds
landing
awesome.
page is almost done.
It really is.
I don't know what I'm supposed to connect. My opt-in is done. I don't know what to connect with what. And then
Yeah, let's chat and I'll show you how to do that, because sometimes it's like, where is that just like out in the internet thing? So just so you know, I can help you through that and we'll just get that.
Okay, so does that make it feel easier, Melissa, if you just have Lamira help you walk through that? Does that feel?
yeah.
Okay, you've got this, you guys. You guys are in our prayers. We are praying for you. We know that the adversary is working hard against you guys right now. And we know that it's hard sometimes, but it's also a summer, and that can also make it tricky. We think we have all this time, but it's summer. So, and Lamira just said to put all our names on the temple prayer roll this Friday. So just know that prayers are coming. We understand, we have been through this too, and are still going through it sometimes. So please, know that we're here and we do want to help. So, all right, ladies, we love you. Have a good rest of your afternoon, and we will be in touch with you this week. Keep up the good work. Okay.